Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. The next episode of Red Valkyrie is about to start. Yay! Alright! Oh, why?
Because there was still 8 seconds left on my screen. The video is actually still going.
Your screen is just wrong, so whatever. No one cares about you. Hi! How's everybody doing? So I am Heidi today because Shae Zombie was busy, and I did a shit job wrapping myself, so I apologize if I come unraveled. Off to this side, I have my co-host, Cyborg Valkyrie. Say hello.
Hello.
And that's it. That's all we ever get. Whatever. And we are joined. We are joined by the super freaking awesome Monster for Monster MD.
Hey guys, how you doing? Thanks for having me on, Heidi. I've always wanted to meet my own creation. Always.
And now you have all the regrets.
Yeah, and even if it's like kind of an off-brand version that you get at Walmart, I still love you just the same.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. I think everything visible right now is from Walmart.
Everything except
do I know my stores or what? Yeah.
The sunglasses.
I'm an American consumer, and I know my store.
The scrub.
Well, that's cool.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I think you look fabulous. Okay, I think you wear them well. When I saw you, I knew who you were. I did not think you were some weird like burn victim homeless guy. Okay, so that's a positive.
That's a plus. That's a plus.
Yeah.
It's somewhat recognizable. I'll take it.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. So we don't normally take this long to get to a pitch,
Right.
But this is just such a shit show. We haven't even
going
started.
Down in flames.
Look, I'm trying.
Come on,
I
shit
tried
show.
It's very, very hard. I tried so hard to make this not exactly what it's going to turn into, which is a total and utter shit show.
It's all good, man. I've been through worse shit shows in my life. Come on.
Right. I mean, at least this shit show, you got a little bit of invisibility going here, so.
Yeah, there you go.
We're a high production value shit show.
Yeah, man. My shit shows don't usually involve green screen. Okay, I mean, come on. This is awesome. This is awesome.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is a poster behind me, and I actually am invisible.
I love it. I love the subtle like I can see through your arm there. I can see through your neck. I can see through your lies. No, I'm just kidding. But, I really love getting to meet Heidi. This is you guys totally blew me away with this. I'm glad you surprised me. Thank you, Heidi.
We do try. So let's go ahead and introduce everyone else who, if you don't know who Heidi is, I don't know what you're doing with your life, but let's just pretend that people don't know. And let's go ahead and get into your pitch so they can learn exactly who Heidi is and why they should give a flying fuck.
So because I'm a dick, before we do that.
Hi.
Oh, the sexiest surgical assistant this side of the Mississippi. That's who Heidi is.
Your pinup was hilarious. And probably my most favorite thing ever.
Thanks so much. I really put a lot of extra work into that. But for now, we're going to jump into Monster MD. This is my first comic book publishing effort. It is the story of Dr. Wyatt Black and his invisible assistant, Heidi, as they get into misadventures of monster medicine. But basically, the story is about a doctor who was on his way to becoming a great surgeon in the world of humans, that is, until a horrible, tragic encounter with this masked madman left him one arm short and ruined his surgical career, blacklisted him from every medical school. He is a human on the outside. You know, he's an outcast now. He ends up becoming a doctor to the local monsters. But in our story of Monster MD, he is actually doubting himself again and thinking maybe he doesn't even have what it takes to be a doctor to the monsters of the world. He's starting to think he's worse for them than then that they're better for him than he is for them. He's wanting to quit, and Heidi, of course, has this kind of connection with him. They have this really great relationship, and she doesn't want him to quit. What happens though is she gets kidnapped by this same masked madman who cut off his arm in the past. And he has to decide when he's at his lowest point, like when he wants to give up on monsters, if he's going to, go and save her and stick with trying to mend all these monsters, or if he's just going to, pack it in and get out of there. So he ends up getting this zombie arm on his left arm. It's been grafted to his arm, and you find out the story behind that too, the origin of it. It's the greatest thing I've ever made. It's everything I love about great 80s horror films, comedy, action, violence, just hilarity. I mean, just the jokes almost wrote themselves with this one, and that's why I've known it was a very special book for years. I've been working on this since 2009. As you can see here, Wyatt is getting bitten by his first patient. Immediately, we have a werewolf attack. And Wyatt holds up his arm. His zombie arm blocks it. And if you scroll down, you'll see that he does the big reveal. Like, he didn't get bitten, but this zombie arm did, which keeps him from getting infected with lycanthropy. But Wyatt, because this is medical and we're trying to blend science with the supernatural in this story, it's kind of the Monster MD style, if you will. He calls it lycanth simplex. Why does he call it lycanth simplex? Because herpes is herpes. It's like herpes simplex, and it comes and goes and then retreats, just like being a werewolf. So he calls it the furry herpes, or furpies for short. He ends up decking the werewolf so that we can, because this opening scene is so important for establishing his character as being kind of a crazy person, kind of a compassionate person, but right there in the eyes, baby, and the bloody arm. But it also establishes him as a guy who's not going to take any shit off nobody. He'll deck a werewolf if he has to get the job done. And that's the kind of doctor I wanted to make, this scrappy, kind of scruffy, like he's going to try to help you, but if you get out of line, he's going to deck you. So
I love it.
And then even better, we scroll down, and then he and the werewolf howl together. He puts a muzzle on him. He says, "Look over there. A deer," and he puts a muzzle on him, and then he starts howling with him to show you that this, but also it ties into kind of the metaphor for this story of how he's kind of part monster himself. He has this zombie arm. He's kind of afraid he's becoming kind of a killer, crazed monster too, as the story plays out. So it's a really great setup,
I want his RV.
This meat wagon is one of my favorite things in the story. Yeah, it's definitely probably, I grew up in the 80s where horror just exploded, and all these amazing things that we all love today are still around. Ghostbusters was definitely an influence on this. The sweet vehicle that seems to have all the gear you need, because when I was thinking about him being an underground monster doctor, I didn't want him to have a lab somewhere that people go to. I wanted him to have a lab on wheels that he could take places. Batman has his Batmobile, Wyatt has the meat wagon. So
absolutely
came out great.
We see kind of the inside of it, and I like how you put shit on the top of it, just like Ecto-1 in Ghostbusters.
Yeah, very, very similar.
Had to get the harpoon on there. It seemed too much fun. Yeah. And if any cops pull him over, he's like, "Oh yeah, we're cosplayers. This is just a popular
Best
thing."
excuse ever.
Yeah.
Hey, he's you.
I like him.
Yeah. And then Shae, here you are kind of stealing his cigarette. And then you see here on the door, "They live." And that's a constant thing throughout the comic where you're seeing references to classic horror movies that I loved growing up. And then the floating lungs, iconic. Everyone loves this.
So cool.
And
This
here's
is probably
something that's
my
kind of fun. I'm doing Heidi's backstory, and one of the fun things is you get to see Heidi, but I intro her in almost the same way. She's smoking she's smoking in one of the first scenes when you first see her. So it's kind of a cool throwback to this.
That's awesome.
He and Heidi have this cool tension, this kind of back and forth banter that's really cute and fun. You can tell they really care about each other. She's throwing his coat on him and calling shotgun and getting into the meat wagon, and they're off to go save a monster. So their instruments detected. That's a little smiley, sharp tooth face on it. I put on there. I did that part. There's a lot of the stickers, all the stickers and graffiti, and like a lot of the gadgetry with the little details you see in this is me. And my artists, of course, greenlit this and said they were totally cool with it because they like it. They like seeing how cool the art comes out once I add that final sheen of details. So that's what I'm going for in this book. One of those books where you just keep looking and finding funny things. You know,
Layers
there's a little ghost.
Yep.
Yeah. But also to build the world and to give you the feel of what Wyatt and Heidi, what the world they live in, and just how fun it is. I think it just really adds.
And it makes the world feel lived in, like Firefly or Serenity, where no matter where you look, there's depth to that universe. I mean, you're doing the same thing here. Shae, I don't know if you noticed this. Did you notice the bumper? Instead of AC/DC?
I like it. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. Like, I've spent way too much time looking for ridiculous stickers for this. There's a little ghost under the headlight with 2 thumbs down saying "boo."
Right there.
It's so silly, but it's so much fun, man. Like, this is what I like to do when I make comics. Like, I'm very hands-on, and Wyatt and Heidi find out that there's a monster nearby in trouble, and it ends up leading them to this abandoned old church. And Wyatt says, I need you to stay in the van in case anything crazy goes down, because I'm getting I'm noticing some bad things here. And he's noticing these graves are freshly dug up.
She's like, excuse you, I can go places. Thank you.
well, it's funny because he goes, Heidi, I'm going to need you to stay in the truck for this one. And she goes, and she goes, why? And he goes, because those graves are freshly dug up. And he's like, and she goes, I can handle new patients. And he goes,
it's what I do.
And then there's this creepy moment where he goes, these aren't patients. This is like, these were freshly dug up and eaten. So whatever ate them might still be around. Let's be careful. So then he walks up to the door, and of course this massive golem fist comes blaring through, because apparently a golem has been set up at this church to guard it for someone else. That's what usually a golem would be for, kind of a big mindless guardian.
Oh,
that's cool.
And so the big fight is on.
So I just got to ask,
big fight.
Because of course I have no context, but it looks like this golem fist is about to punch him in the dick.
This is 100. This is true.
Okay.
This is a man who puts his balls on the line to do what he loves. I really wanted to hit that home with that shot.
Oh my gosh, and the expressions that you have on his face where he's running, he's like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
Yeah, he needs to have the best oh shit expressions. In fact, I probably wrote that in the script, like oh shit face on Wyatt. Like I write things like that. I'm very loose with it. And then Heidi's on the badass harpoon going, I got this. Punches right through him because he's made of clay like golems are. And the clay can harden and soften at will, so they're not going to get very far with the harpoon treatment.
Okay,
they find out pretty quick.
She tried it.
Shae, I'm just pointing out, Invisichick with thumb up. Here's your chance.
Yeah.
I liked this one better.
Oh, wait. Which one?
This.
That is so cool.
Yes, showing no muscle at all. Because
Flex it. Yeah, you should do a Rosie the Riveter, like a hollow Rosie the Riveter.
I love it. Look, just because you don't see it doesn't mean that they're not there, okay? They're very big and impressive. Just trust me.
That's right.
The invisible gun. Okay.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
And so from there we get this awesome golem fight, but basically it's setting up Wyatt's fear, because they come to discover this golem is covering for someone from Wyatt's past. Someone who just absolutely ruined Wyatt's life once already. So that's kind of our nice intro to this story and this kind of overarching threat that Wyatt's kind of dealing with. That's also making him just want to quit. He ends up getting his zombie arm stuck in this golem. And he tells Heidi he needs her to use the fertilizer to solve this problem.
Okay.
And she's like, okay. So she has her cute little Spider-Man moment, which Marco, our artist, Marco Maccagni, he's an awesome artist from Italy. He captured that perfectly, her cute little face. And then, of course, it's the poop jar. Did you remember your breath mask is a note on it. Now, the reason that it's like that is because it's like at your job when you label things ridiculous names just so you can have a chuckle. Like, for instance, our printer at work is called what do we call him? Bob Marley, because he's always jamming, stuff like that. So I figured Wyatt and Heidi would name things ridiculous stuff, so they called it the poop jar. But it's fertilizer that they need to be able to defeat this golem, because one of the main things you're going to see in Monster MD is he has to use actual real deal science to solve some of these monster problems. And that's something that I, as a viewer, found I thought that would be really cool. And so I've been going for that in this book.
I'm really glad that you explained the poop jar, because as we were scrolling through this the other day, Shae's like, poop jar? What?
Yeah. I was like, I'm going to need him to explain to me why there is a poop jar. I don't.
I figured it was like a swear jar, but
that's what I thought too, but I was like, what? Every time you shit, that's horrible. You need to.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I totally get it, because everyone has had the exact same reaction to the poop jar. I mean, it's been hilarious. But when you read the book, you'll see flat out like this is their fertilizer, and what does fertilizer have in it other than just poop? That can help break down clay. And Wyatt reveals that pretty soon into these next pages. So she loads up the syringe poon, the massive syringe poon that they used to put a lot of the bigger monsters to sleep.
This thing right here. This
what?
thing back behind me. Yeah, syringe poon.
Gotta have your syringe poon. Wyatt's getting crushed into the clay.
Okay.
And he's screaming, and she says,
syringe poon does not sound right, and that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's okay, because Monster MD is not right in a lot of ways. It's like all throughout.
It sounds like something a gynecologist would use. I'm just saying.
It really hand me the syringe poom and the speculum. I know. I can hear it. Hey guys, look at my screen real quick though. Do you know why people like really old gynecologists?
Is this going to be like a spec? Oh wait, hold on.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
How's that for not right? For not right?
You know what, Monster?
Okay.
That is very much right on par for not right.
Damn right. So she loads up the syringe poon with the fertilizer, and she goes, "How many cc's?" She's like totally cool as a cucumber, and he's like, "All the cc's, please. All entire shitload, please." And she fires. Yeah, the whole shitload, baby. And then boom, and I love the way this came out. This is just an awesome perspective shot that Marco captured here. He's such a great artist. Oh, I love it. And so we don't see what happens after that, but I have released a chapter of Monster MD for everyone to read that reveals the syringe poon injects the golem with the fertilizer, and he starts to break down because it has gypsum in it, which a lot of people use in gardening, and it's found in a lot of fertilizers, and the gypsum breaks down clay in the soil. So it was a cool kind of creative solution to a big problem.
I love that. That's so cool.
I love this panel of them walking away from the truck, and he's lighting up, and she's talking. It's just such a cool, it captures the world that we're going for, the colors, the characters, the gestures, the truck. It's fantastic. So here we have, Wyatt is explaining that he's scared, and he's not usually scared. He ended up leaving a patient behind in this scene, and he's never done that before. And Heidi, of course, calls him out on it, like she should. And he starts to go into his past. And so we have a cool flashback of him as a med student here, or in the next scenes, and he ends up meeting his first monster, which this page right here is a scene from.
Yep, I knew.
I was wondering what this was.
he's in his med school, breaking all the rules, doing late night, completely unofficial autopsies on corpses. And one of them gets up and gets on the roof and turns around and is like, "Do you talk to monsters? Do you talk to And it's an awesome scene because this is a turning point for him as a character where he's like, I can help you. Let me help. Let me try. And he meets this great character named Ingrid. So it's a cool little bonding moment. Or they end up having some cool bonding moments after this, after this creepiness.
After she's open chested and eyes are all milky.
Bearing it all.
Seriously.
There's topless, and then there's that.
Yeah.
It's a new level of topless.
Yeah, it's one way to get around it.
Oh, interesting.
But and it's funny because there are multiple scenes in this where a girl is bare chested, but you don't see it because it's monsters. So it's an open chest, or it's like crazy teeth, or it's something awesome. So you're gonna see some cool stuff ahead, guys. So this was just my little back of the book blurb for getting people interested. It was really fun to write, and then of course I have Heidi peeking in to make a little joke. These were old black and white panels that we hadn't finished yet back when I launched.
Sorry,
I think we've colored most of these since then. So yeah, it's been an amazing project, man. I wrote this. Yeah, this was Marco and I put this together, and then I labeled it all these fun things. This is going to be in the sketchbook, like the meat wagon blueprint, if you will. He did a great job on it, man. He's got such a great eye for design, and whatever I tell him and the notes I give him, he always hits the nail on the head, man.
So I see that. Joke.
Yeah. Yep. And I've been working on this for so long, and it's had other comic. Yeah, I want people to know this is a shitty Wyatt's world is like ramen noodles and rust and shit's falling apart and it needs to be blue collar, barely holding it together. I saw this other book about a guy who's kind of a monster doctor put out by Image called Witch Doctor, and he's all fancy and wearing a 3-piece suit and has a nice lab, and I'm just like, no, dude. That's not the way. It's not the way, or at least not my style.
No, this kind of reminds me of you see the old Gumshoe PI movies, and they're always living in their office, and it's just riddled with Chinese takeout containers and beer everywhere, and they're always a little drunk, and they're always super pissed, and then someone walks in, they're like, all right, cool, I guess I can help you out. That's kind of the vibe that I got, except this is medical instead of missing persons. It's just kind of
Okay, retractable rammer. That's the last part of this I'm going to call out.
my nickname in high school. So that actually is planned for the future, but I don't think we have him actually ram anything with it, unfortunately. In this book, we'll get there. Don't worry, we'll get there. I know. We got to get it. We got to get some retractable ramming going.
Well, from rammer, let's move on to here.
My absolute favorite.
This is a Zashi piece, and that's why it's so gorgeous. Zashi was awesome because she dealt with me. She dealt with all my notes because I pretty much I wanted it. I had a very specific pinup vision for this to put her in this position, and she captured it well after a lot of sketches. So well done, Zash. I'm really proud with how this came out, man. This is the perfect Heidi pinup poster. Making an invisible woman sexy is no easy task. And here it is.
Right? Well, and it's unique. It's not something that I thought of, because I remember that you were like, yeah, there's going to be a Heidi pinup. And I was like, well, seeing her advantages and stuff will be kind of cool. And then I saw it and was like, that's actually a sexy Heidi pinup. And I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I mean, when you got it, you got it. What can I say, right? And it was, I knew with Zashi, she'd capture the sensualness but yeah, I worked with her a lot. I gave her a lot more edits than she's probably used to dealing with, but I think we came out with something special. And that's what's so fun about Monster MD, because it's comedy too. screw it, let's do a Heidi pinup. Like, it's funny, but it's sexy. You can do it. You can do whatever you want almost in this world. It's that fun, you know. It's open to ideas.
It's very open.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
And I put the lipstick on there and made it look like it's starting to fade and go invisible a little bit on the corner.
Aww.
So it's a little reminiscent of her character. Stuff like that, little details, right? The little things.
Indeed.
That's amazing.
Wait, is this the
Wyatt?
werewolf that bit him?
Yes, he ends up having to make he has to make up with him. He has to make up with him. Now, here's the funny part. In the beginning of the book, Wyatt sends the werewolf home as a human, and he takes all the money out of his wallet and goes. And the guy goes, "Is there anything in my wallet left to get home on?" And he's like, "You can get home on your feet. That's what you can get home on." And sends him packing with no money, like an ass. Like, Wyatt's an ass to this guy, which helped hit home the whole like conflict between him and his patients and him kind of wanting to quit and being a dick. But then he ends up having a buddy with him to ride this werewolf to come in to save the day and find Heidi, and use the werewolf's awesome keen sense of smell to find the meat wagon so he can find Heidi. And the werewolf holds out his paw and starts growling, and Wyatt starts throwing money at him, and so the werewolf gets all his money back. And the werewolf just keeps growling, and he's like, "I thought we were friends," and throws like all his money at him. Yeah, and so the werewolf gets his money back.
And then
by
some.
the end, which I think it's gonna crack people up. I think people will love that. Yeah, and then here we just have collages of different cool panels from the book that I put together at the time. All of these are colored now, and they look absolutely phenomenal. Our colorist is Tanya Wicker, and I could not recommend a better colorist. I mean, she and Marco combined has really turned Monster MD into my vision. You know, something really special, guys. I'm so
fair,
pumped to have these guys.
Your colorist is good, but I feel the need to mention two others.
Yeah, there's always others.
Just because Kyle's one of our best friends.
That's true.
Kyle Ritter.
Kyle Ritter, obviously.
Oh, guys.
And
He's one of my favorites.
I mean,
one of my favorites.
So literally our best friend ever. One of the nicest guys that I've probably ever talked to. He's super amazing.
And, you know, Shae, I'll open the floor to you since it shouldn't be me saying it.
The other colorist that I know Sai is alluding to would be my husband, actually.
Cyborg.
So I am S.E. Tonks. He's also a really awesome colorist. He's one person that Kyle actually has recommended before and said was a really, really good colorist, which Kyle doesn't normally do. So,
well, guys,
and it's not because we're BFFs. It's
yeah. I gotta tell you, I'm still making books for the future, and I'm always looking into colorists. So,
Vinny is pretty good too. Vinny is also a great colorist. Hi, Vinny.
Hi, Vinny.
Vinny's also a good friend. But yeah,
he's awesome.
You've got the thing is this whole indie scene. There's so many amazing colorists and artists, and it's
are
insane.
you kidding me? I know it is insane, man. Like that, like to me, comic historians better look into this and like see kind of like, you know, I knew them when, you know, back when we were all just young little spitfires trying to break in, because this is special what's going on with all these great artists. I've never had so much fun in my life hanging and chatting and getting the opinions of all these awesome artists, man. This is like what I've been waiting for my whole life. I swear to God, it's been great.
So I'm going to do this a little out of order because we never usually have early questions, but I don't want to miss this.
Ooh, so
story behind the mayhem.
Go ahead.
Yeah. The Mayhem Sure is just another way in which I wanted to to show you some of Wyatt's music taste. Music is very important to me. It's very important when I'm creating too. And it's very important. I like to think about what my characters, when I'm getting into them, what they listen to. And Wyatt having that Mayhem shirt is also kind of not just about his taste, but about his character. He's a little chaos. He's a little heavy metal. This whole book needs to have kind of a fun rock and roll edge to it.
Right.
You know, so Mayhem is kind of is the like what you'd call them, like the original black metal inventors of black metal. And that logo is well known by a lot of people who appreciate music and metal, and it just seemed like a perfect fit. It also, from a design standpoint, gives him that classic superhero chest thing without just being like a bat symbol. It becomes a band shirt. So it's still grimy, you know, because grimy and kind of downtrodden, like why it should look, while being like, you know, that it fills in that black and gives them that cool chest emblem that we're used to enjoying in comics.
So I got to ask you one question.
Yes, in the back.
What's this right here going on with the meat wagon?
So this scene is amazing. In this scene, Wyatt has decided to quit monster mending, like flat out. He's like, I'm done. See ya. And he's telling Heidi, like, I'm out. And he puts the car in neutral and starts letting it roll into the lake. Okay. And then Heidi, and then suddenly the car starts up, and then Heidi leans out the window, flips him off because she's going to go save a patient. And she's like, I didn't even have to strip to trick you and get into this shit. And then races off in this scene. And then he's screaming in the background like, Invisa Judas! Invisa Judas! So that's why he has to go track down Heidi. He only finds out once he finds the meat wagon that Heidi's been kidnapped, and things are about to get real.
Right.
So the whole reason she gets kidnapped is because he threw a temper tantrum and she said, fuck you.
Yeah, pretty much. She's going to keep on being the monster doctor in any way she can. She is fully committed to this stuff, you know, and yes, she's willing to flip him off and race off with the truck if he's not gonna be nice.
I'm just saying that looked like eyes on the van, and it looks really cool.
It really does. It looks like eyes with a little smiling mouth.
I think Marco is really like I love the way he bends things that are normally just very mechanical. For instance, the first time I noticed it, which I thought was brilliant on his part, was Heidi's glasses sometimes have subtle size differences and shape differences because they essentially are her eyes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives her that extra expressive emote, which I just love.
Yes. Agreed.
And the car's no different. Oh my God, those eyes it does look like eyes. I never even noticed that.
It kind of looks like she's stealing it. He's pissed. And the meat wagon's like, holy fuck, what's going on here?
Yeah. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I didn't do this.
Like, it ain't on me, bud.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like when your girlfriend steals your dog, you know, when you break up. I don't know.
I didn't do this. I don't have control.
I'm just on the leash, pal. Don't blame me when she takes me.
I'm just doing what I'm told, damn it. I love it. I love it that you guys gave the meat wagon a little personality here. This is cool.
And it's good.
This book is, we're about 50% done with colors, but everything else is done. And that's something I'm really excited about. We just got to get through those colors. Tanya takes her time though, because she's doing such fabulous work. So in order to get the quality we want, you know, we're going to take more time into 2020 to get this done. It is also a very long book. I'm a crazy person. All the pros told me I was crazy to do this, but I mean, hell, dude, I want to give every backer a full meal, right? I want to give you the beginning, like a good beginning, middle, and end, and a satisfying story to tide you over. Because the nature of crowdfunding is, even if it is like a 48-page book, it takes a while for the next one to come out still. Right. I don't want people biting their nails too much. I wanted to tell the most satisfying, fun story I could and get you into this Heidi and Wyatt world of monsters and hilarity. So another cool thing about it, we're here on the team. Another team member that I've been just so honored to work with and learned a lot from and have just loved hanging out with is Eric Weathers, the man who lettered the world, right? He's fantastic. He's a workhorse and a half, and it's been just nothing but fun working with him on this. So thank you, Eric.
Yeah, Eric is super, super sweet. Like I'm trying to learn how to letter and to be a better letterer and everything. And I've messaged him and I've messaged Joey Turner, a couple different people over and over again, and have just pester them with like, why does this look like crap? How do I make it look better? And they're really patient and sweet and like, oh yeah, well here's where I would go. This is what I would do. This is what doesn't look right. This is how you can make it better. And like Eric's always been super nice. So it's cool. A lot of really nice, personable people and people that do really good on this project. That's super cool.
Oh man, I gotta admit, I lucked out with this team. I mean, I didn't really luck out. I mean, I saw Marco's art, knew it was perfect. I already had worked with Tanya before, knew her colors were perfect. It was just a matter of could I get them to work together or not on this, and commit to this big book. I mean, this was a big one. Marco's just amazing. He churned it out. Tanya's just getting better all the time, and Eric is, as you know, kind of a god. So it's up to me to do the best story I can, right, and put out the best book I can. So yeah, like, I'm really excited for you guys to get to read this. So far, from what people have read, they like it. I'm getting good reviews, so let's hope that the rest floors you guys.
Absolutely. The thing is, so earlier on when I very first started getting into kind of following all these indie comics and things like that, I saw your book, and I think that Tonks actually was the first one that had asked me about it, but I had seen your book and was like, this is exactly up my alley, 100% something that I would want. And I was already on your Indiegogo about to back it when he was like, so do you think that you might want to back it? And I was like, yeah, I think maybe I might consider doing it. And I was like, come on. Like, trying to get it at a decent tier and everything quickly. But
awesome.
It's rare that you see a book that both is like really visually appealing and also has what seems like hilarious comedic parts in it. Because comedy, like horror is difficult to do. Comedy is very hard to do. Doing things like action and stuff, that's usually a little bit easier because as long as, if you run out of story, just do a couple of really cool splash pages and you're right back on track. But when it comes to comedy, like your joke falls flat, there's no saving it. That's it. You were so right. You were so right, because the amount of rewrites I've done on Monster MD, I've lost track of, and there are so many jokes that did not make the cut. That's just part of the process, I guess. I've written horror comedy before. When I was in film school, I went to film school, Columbia College, Chicago. The first day of school, my teacher said, hey guys, guess how many short films our school gets into the festivals each year? I said, how many? He said, 0, man. 0, because none of us can write a story worth a damn. Like, we do not know how to write stories here. I made it my sworn goal, like quest, like I'm going to write awesome stories. And I wrote some sweet little short scripts that won some awards for horror comedy or coming of age comedy. So I've done some comedy. I have some experience in it. In Monster MD, it felt like I was cheating almost, because the jokes kind of wrote themselves. I mean, you have an invisible nurse, and you have all these different monsters. Like, all I did was I imagined some of the funniest scenarios I could come up with all these different classic monsters that everyone knows and loves. It's just like a winning combo, right? Like, what could I do with Wolfman? Wolfman, it comes out every full moon and then retreats. That's like herpes or something, So like, let's do that. And then Slender Man, I gave him erectile dysfunction, which is always, which is fun. And but that explains why he can't talk, because he's embarrassed to talk about it to his doctor, So why it's like, I get you, man. Like, you're being really silent about this. So I'm going to write you a prescription, give this to your local warlock or witch doctor or whatever, and we'll get you cleared up. And then you actually see Slender Man smile, which I think might be an internet first. Probably.
I would like to think so, at least. That would be kind of cool. So for fans of different monsters, there's something hopefully in here for you. And if there isn't, there's more books on the way, guys. Definitely going to do more.
That is so cool. All right, so before we go through your tiers, which I definitely want us to get through, I'm just going to remind the chat, start thinking of questions that you would like, something that you would like to ask about Monster MD or something you'd like to ask Vaughn specifically. But honestly, this, first off, very comprehensive. There's probably one of the first people to be this in depth with their book, which is super refreshing. But yeah, let's go ahead and go over your tiers, and then I'm gonna start thinking of questions that I've had.
Hold on, let me make sure I'm not okay.
Our
make sure I wasn't signed in before I click any of these things.
Our first featured tier, the signed comic and the sketchbook. This kind of is cool for the people who they love the book, but they want to also see that awesome behind the scenes making of with notes from me. And you're going to see sketches, and you will even see pages from the original comic book version of Monster MD that I did back in 2016. And that version is with a different artist, and it's nowhere near this quality. But like you kind of see me learning. I was releasing that one for free, man. So it's been cool. So yeah, that's 2 awesome books for $50. 180 people got them, so I'm really happy about that. I didn't know how the sketchbook would go over. This is all kind of new to me.
Yeah.
I think that I got that one. I think I did. I'll have to go back and check.
Yeah, the sketchbook is still in the works, but I'm having fun working on it. I'm going to try to make it kind of cool looking on the inside. If I can, I want it to look kind of beat up and like something out of Wyatt's offices, with like bent up paper and coffee stains. And
I was just going to say you need a coffee ring on the cover.
100. You called it.
Has to have a coffee ring on the cover.
Make sure it's black coffee and then maybe a gray smudge from a cigarette ash. Off it. Yeah.
There you go.
I like it.
Yeah, let's beat it up. Let's beat up the cover a little bit, or at least the inside. Like make it like old clipboards and stuff. And then moving on to the digital tier, you can get both of these in digital deluxe for $18. This was a big one because people were like, I don't want to do digital, let's just do physical. And I get that, like 100%, I get it. But there's another part of me that's like, go ahead, dude, and share it. Like, go ahead and put my name and my book out in the world if you really want to pirate. Like, I'm not saying you should pirate it. I'm saying just let other, maybe give people a preview of it. Let people know, because I like the idea of people kind of spreading this around and hopefully enjoying the hell out of it. So I didn't mind.
Just a quick question. Do your physical backers get a PDF as well?
No, they don't. But I've been considering giving all of them a PDF. That's been on my mind lately. But in this campaign, I did not have that.
If I can just put a plug in for it, if you're going to give everybody a physical copy, and a lot of those people might want to be collectors, giving them the digital edition means that they can keep the physical copy more pristine and still read the ever-loving crap out of your book. Same thing when it comes to, like, Cy and I are about to start doing comic reviews, and we're not in the same state. So if I back something and we want to do a review on it, we either got to get real creative with Hangouts, and I'm like, story time, this is what it looks like. You see how pretty the pictures are? Okay, we'll go to the next one. Like, or we have a digital deluxe, and maybe I give her my digital copy, and I keep the physical, and that's how we read it.
Yeah. Or even for those people... Point. I mean, it's a big comic. Mm-hmm. Maybe they have their comic at home. They leave the physical one at home, and they take their little iPad to work with them, and they want to keep reading off where they left off. So it's just something to consider.
Definitely. I like that.
And I do agree with Rare Logic. Yes, that is why you buy multiple copies. I am too broke to continually buy multiple copies, but yes, that is, in an ideal world, I would have my reading copy and my non-reading copy. But sometimes it doesn't quite work out that way.
When you back 30 or more projects, and
it happens. There's a lot out here that is just amazing.
We have a signed comic, $25. Pretty bread and butter, but you get 100. The main story is 114 pages, but when we add Heidi's story, which is colored actually by the amazing colorist Steve Cannon, who is just tonight turning in the final pages on that, by the way, which I'm really pumped for, he did my edits. He edited it up for. I hopefully can't wait to look at that. It is going to be 128 pages, so. Woo, we got a hefty, juicy book here. I think people are going to really dig Heidi's backstory. I felt really confident writing it. And even though it's only 14 pages, there is so much like tragedy and humanity in it. You guys ever watch Orange is the New Black?
Yes.
You ever see that show?
Sometimes.
So That show, one of the things they did was you kind of see people's tragic backstory of how they got into prison. When I thought about Heidi's backstory, I started just thinking of tragedy, even though Heidi's so hilarious and just fun. I was like, let's show her other side. Let's show that dark side that we, because I just think that's life. It's never just all roses. It's never just all rain. So let's show in Monster MD's world, let's make if people turn into a monster, if you will, let's make that's got to be a tragic thing. That's not a fun or a cute thing. So I tell Heidi's story is going to be a way different tone from what you're used to with Heidi, but I hope it makes people love the character more because they see what she's gone through, they see her loss.
Right. Absolutely.
So,
yep, and I'm sure that we'll be talking about that just a little bit more when we get to your stretch goals, since that was one of the stretch goals, was including Heidi's backstory.
Heck yeah.
Good
I'm just
stuff.
Highlighting random comments in the chat.
Every book is going to be signed by me, but even better, we have a stretch goal where Eric Weathers is going to be signing them too. So he's going to be coming to stay with me for a weekend, and we're going to, drink whiskey and sign books. It's going to be awesome.
Oh yeah.
I added this later. We have a badass T-shirt. People have bought these, man. People have bought these. I'm loving this T-shirt design. It's in itself. It's kind of like that heavy metal style. It's all distressed looking, like you've owned it forever. It's totally badass looking. So came out just the way I wanted. I love the Monster MD medical symbol.
Yes.
The two snake bat wings and the skull and the sigil of protection at the top. It's cool. It's been really fun designing this over the years.
That's a very interesting take on the Caduceus, I just got to say.
I'm going to enough money to get one of these. Like, this is happening.
I knew it was the second I saw the shirt.
Heidi, I'm just going to send you. I should just send you one so that you can, for being Heidi, because you were too sweet. And yeah, we'll talk. We'll figure this out.
It's very sweet, Vaughn.
But yeah, this is do no harm unless you must is the Monster Doctor's oath, because of course the Doctor's oath is do no harm. That's the first thing they say. But yeah, with Wyatt, it's like unless you must.
Well,
the very first panel he
bite out of you. Yeah.
Right. Very first panel he's ducking the crap out of a patient. So.
Yeah, exactly. Good Monster Doctor there. Good Monster Doctor. And then we have the book plus a poster signed by Heidi in invisible ink. No, it's not really. It's actually signed by her, like in print. It's just a cute thing. It's not actually signed, but yeah, it's a lot of people have liked this because they can't wait to get that pinup action going, which I think is really fun.
Yeah.
I love a good pinup poster.
And it's 11 by 17, so that's decent. It's not just comic size.
Yeah. No, that's a good size.
Yeah.
2
signed comics. You're going to get double your fun, double your pleasure.
What? That's awesome.
And then the sketchbook plus the poster. I thought this was a pretty cool tier because it's a pretty good price for everything you get. And yeah, you get kind of like, it's kind of a nice package of everything. Sketchbook, poster, all the goodies.
So I'm just going to mute for a second because obviously asshole roommates don't know not to start the vacuum when screen time. So go ahead.
Full dose. The full dose. I'm putting your name in the book as someone who really helped make this happen. I'm giving you a T-shirt with the sketchbook, the main book, and the Heidi poster. It's kind of a fun. You're getting like a fun, full, real deal package with this,
Right.
It's for those people that really love the project and want to support it, so.
I mean, that's a freaking badass tier for sure.
A lot of people who run shops asked me for 10 book tiers, so I did it, and 5 people claimed. I was actually blown away by that. I expected just one dude.
Cool.
Got 10 books coming his ways, and for a good price. So that was fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully it gets out there and so people can enjoy it in the shops.
That's super freaking awesome. And I'm really happy to see that more indie campaigns are doing that and that they're actually selling. That just makes it all the cooler.
So cool. So cool. So then we got the overdose. Your name in the book, the t-shirt, the sketchbook, the main book, and we're going to give you a Heidi poster, and your name is going to be on a sweet grave in some of the panels that Heidi and Wyatt are walking through later in the book.
Oh, wow.
So, well, you get two of a lot of these, so.
Yeah, and you're going to get doubled up. You're going to get doubled up, so you get a full deal package. Because I want people who just want more than enough. That's why it's called the overdose, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to get 2 books, 2 sketchbooks, 2 posters. Well, obviously you could give it to your friend or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Monster dose. I did not expect anyone to get this, but someone's going to get their face on a monster hanging out with Heidi and Wyatt. So, and you're going to get 2 signed comics, 2 signed sketchbook. You're going to get the whole, you're going to get it all. The t-shirt, name in the book, be a monster, baby. So yeah, I'm going to talk to this one and see if they have, if maybe they can give us a little direction on what monster they want to be. But we do have finished pages that have blank faces on some monsters that are like totally partying with Heidi and Wyatt. So be ready.
And you have 4 more available.
Yep.
Heck yeah.
Should anyone want to get in here, get in on this.
Saying you can go party hardy.
And Heidi's topless in that scene, I think. So it's gonna get crazy, guys. It's gonna get
Wait. Topless like this chick down here.
Do you? Am I able to? Should I share my screen? My screen.
I don't know.
Should I share my screen and if I should show you guys? Maybe I could show you.
If you want. I was just concerned it was going to be topless like the chick.
The girl with her chest open?
Yeah, exactly. The blood angel.
Or is she going to be topless in that she's invisible?
Exactly.
Just holding her bra. She's like, woo!
She got it from her drawer, not from her body.
She's like, I understand how this works. You guys will just think.
Yeah.
If you want to share
here
I have my eye out for it.
Okay. All right. I got it right. This is gonna be fun. Okay.
Okay, it's not gonna get my channel like destroyed, right?
It's topless Heidi. It's topless Heidi.
So it should be fine.
Shae, we might be moving this to
So you should be 100% okay.
Nice. Hold on, I'm gonna get rid of us and just zoom in more.
And then she throws her bra onto the punk vampire kid Skids, who's a recurring character. He's a little punk. Yeah, and the monsters are loving it. As you can see, there's some headless ones here who are ready to be turned into somebody just in case. And if not, we'll just, we'll finish them up for the finishing up the book.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Yeah, it came out great. This is I've never had more fun making anything, and I think Marco captured it. I think Marco had a lot of fun too. I think it shows all these great characters. Skids is funny because he and Wyatt just totally hate each other, but they kind of love each other. You know what I mean? And they talk so much trash. And Skids ends up making a cameo in the crossover book I'm doing with Cal and everybody for Shinobi Sasquatch versus Monster MD. So
heck yeah. And we will have Cal and Rob on after this, after a costume change too. So it's perfect. It's a perfect day to get the crossover and the super awesomeness all at once.
Mm-hmm. And if you guys want, I could show you pages from the crossover. Up to you, but those pages are being worked on right now, and we have about 5 or 6 done. So it's looking good.
Oh, hey, Cal's. Hi, Cal. Cal's in the chat.
Hey, Cal.
All right, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 questions for you. But before we get to them, I wanted to go over your stretch goals because you have actually got quite a few of them unlocked, and that's pretty awesome.
Yep. I did not expect this, but I went for it anyway. My
do
whole
it.
philosophy with my campaign was like give, give, give. Because I'm new
Right.
on this scene. I want to make people as happy as I can be and have them coming back in the future. So I'm gonna spend the extra money. We got our Monster MD pins, which have come out great. It was hilarious. I brought a bunch to a dinner with my family recently, and I set them on the table. Everybody grabbed them and just put them on immediately, like we were in a cult. Like I was like, all right, let the first meeting of the Monster MD cult begin. It was funny. And then we all ordered a great food. It was a fun night. But yeah, these came out awesome. I actually used a local artist who does buttons to make this happen, and he did a great job. Support your local art, people. And the next one was a fan art gallery added to the main book. So I'm going to be showing a lot of cool fan art at the end of the main book. Yeah, we're doing heavier stock, super matte, soft touch film laminate with spot gloss UV cover for the main book. So I'm going to work that out with the printer once we get to that. I can't wait because I think it's just going to be a gorgeous cover, but just a really good feeling, professional, good quality book. We have the bomber patch, which came out awesome. It pretty much came out like this. It doesn't say cryptocology on it, but it says established in 2019. This is something that the original, you original Monster MD fans can have to put on whatever you want to kind of show, you were there in the beginning, established in 2019.
And I saw the
done,
other
guys.
version of it in your updates, so I was going to ask you which one it was, the one in your updates or this one. But yeah, I mean, it came out, the one in the updates came out looking really great. From what I saw on the screen.
I'm really happy. I've got them all ready to go too. Lots of them.
I'm so excited.
We have Heidi's backstory. Yep. You guys hit that. I was so happy you hit that because I didn't know, when I launched this that we would get there. But everybody loved Heidi so much. I loved getting to write another story for you guys. Marco loved drawing this. It's just been a blast. New full color version of the official sketchbook. Yeah, I didn't know if we would get this far, but yeah, so everything will be in color. I was going to just make it kind of grimy and black and white, but no, we're going to have a beautiful full color sketchbook for you. The crossover. The character that everybody loves, Shinobi Sasquatch, Cal Jameson, and Rob Willis's just absolutely unforgettable creation is I got to write him, which was just a pure honor. And it's so much fun because he fits with Heidi and Wyatt perfectly. It's just ridiculous how well they work together and the comedy involved.
Right,
so
and
yeah,
in that universe too. I mean, because it's all the classic monsters. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's so
right.
cool.
Exactly. And I have Heidi and Wyatt on a camping trip trying to get away from monsters. and Heidi's so cute. She's putting up all these different herbs and the tree branches around them in a circle to kind of keep monsters away. And then Shinobi just face plants into their tent and just ruins everything. And that's kind of how our story starts. And they're kind of in Portland in in Shinobi's turf, if you will, which I thought was a perfectly adequate, creepy forest place to start our story. So yeah, it's been a blast. I believe Rob is going to do our cover for this book, which I am beyond pumped for because if I could see him draw my characters, that'd be something else. Right. Oh, thanks, Cal. Appreciate you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and what I love about this crossover is I think the fans love it. I think the fans want stuff like this. So it's just been fun to do all around to make people happy with this.
Now I have
everyone
heard of other crossovers, but let me just say this: fans want this kind of thing done right, which it sounds like you're doing, not shoehorned in.
Yeah, I'm giving it my all, and I'm trying to give each character their due. You're seeing the cool sides of Heidi and Wyatt, but you're seeing how just kind of what I liked about Shinobi Sasquatch was when I read the script, Cal wrote him he's got a very eloquent way of speaking. He's a very thoughtful character, and that's such a cool dynamic with a big, brutal Sasquatch running around the forest, no shoes, all that stuff. It's just been awesome writing for him. And I have a cool scene where Heidi and him kind of bond. It's just adorable, man. I think people are going to really like this.
So excited. So excited.
Moving on, we got the pay bonus for my artist, color, and letterer. Yep, I gave them their bonus actually already, and they all were very happy with that. So good times all around. I love getting to pay them more too, because
Yeah.
they've been amazing to work with and done great work on this. So
Well, and without them, you wouldn't have a book. I mean, as a writer,
exactly.
I know this is a visual medium, so you.
I kept telling them this. It's not even that I wouldn't have a book. I wouldn't have a book this good.
Right.
They just knocked it out of the park. Eric the man letters. He's going to sign the book at 50K, and we hit that, which surprised me. I didn't expect to hit that either. And yeah, so he's going to come hang. We're going to have a blast, man. I can't wait. And 60K, just you wait. I should have updated my page. I ended up getting a trading card drawn by John Malin of Wyatt hanging out with the werewolf that he rides, who's named Fritz, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Fritz the werewolf.
Coach with the werewolf.
Oh,
Coach loves his werewolves. So he did a fantastic job on that. I had Tanya color it, and I'm working on the graphics for that now so I can get those printed off. So everyone's going to get a cool trading card. What's fun about it is instead of it having like powers and like little stats on the back, it reads like a hilarious medical chart for a werewolf. So I think people are going to love that. It's got a clipboard. And it's got all these like folded up papers that are all dingy and messed up, and it's gonna be great. You guys are gonna love it.
There's like eraser marks or whiteout, which are two things you can't do on a medical chart that are gonna be on it.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
That would be fun, actually.
That's so great. Oh my gosh. So you hit so many stretch goals. You got so many like cool little bits that are coming with this, which is just awesome. I can't, like, I've been waiting for this forever, and I didn't hear any updates for the longest time because I guess I backed the campaign but wasn't following it or something. I don't know what happened, but I missed out on many updates. And I finally went and like looked up and was like, is it still in demand? Like, I really want to have Vaughn on. I love this book.
Yep, still in demand, baby. We're gonna be in demand until like things look like we're ready to go to print. So here we are.
Which is the smart way to do it. I mean, why would you not be in demand if you're not ready to go to the printers yet? Like, you don't need the final numbers just yet. So
yeah, and I'm ordering a lot more books than I need, so I'm good to stay open, you know, and get some more backers in that. And that's part of it's been fun doing that. I want people to get this book. I want more fans, you know. 1,385 backers. Like, I'm going to be ordering like 2,000 books, so we're going to be covered. And I can't wait, man.
And it's not like you're not still making money in demand. You made over 12 grand.
Mm-hmm.
Just while you've been in demand.
It's amazing. I didn't know what to expect because I've never done this before, you guys. So I was like, okay,
well,
this is how it works.
You're doing it right. You're doing exactly. And the thing is, I think one of the biggest things to kind of highlight is you approached this as like, I'm a consumer. This is what I like. This is what I would expect and what I would want. And then that's what you've put out. And as a result, people are getting exactly what they would want, exactly what they expect. And then some. And I think that being able to do that and to really kind of look at it divorced from, I just really want to make my story, and be able to go, well, what would I want if I didn't know anything about this story and somebody was asking me to help crowdfund? Like, what would I hope to get out of it? And that's kind of what you've brought to the table, which I think is amazing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thanks. It's something I recommend everyone do for their books, because you want to tap into the excitement that excitement to get them to want to buy it, to get them to want to support it. It goes a really long way. My passion, my excitement for this book, I think, is infectious, and it's getting people on board. And I looked at all the things that I think are cool about crowdfunding, because, I mean, let's face it, I'm making a comic book, publishing for the first time, but I'm also doing a campaign for the first time. I wanted to learn, so I studied up on everything I liked that other campaigns I looked up to had done. I looked at Cyberfrog, I looked at Bigfoot Bill, I looked at Red Rooster, I looked at Jawbreakers. I looked at all these bigger books, what they did that I liked, what they did that I didn't like. So in the end, back in the day, and when I lived in Austin, I ran I ran a cosplay store from my house. We made homemade anime, cosplay products, really high quality. And I had to make a website, and I had to promote it, and I had to make graphics, and I had to get people excited, and we made a ton of money. And I ended up liquidating all that once, like after a little while, to move on to film school and do something new with my life. But it was a blast. And I learned a lot from that. And I learned about making people happy. And I learned about doing good graphic design and drawing them in. So I think it paid off for this campaign a lot,
For sure. I no longer feel self-conscious whatsoever about my shit closet play. Mr. Professional cosplay maker.
Oh, I don't want to call it professional, but I mean, we had fun. We did well. We went to some conventions, but I realized I didn't want to do that with my life, I want to make books, make comics, tell stories.
Well, and I mean, it feels like you probably made the right move, and I know I'm really excited to get this book. I've been excited to get this book for months and months and months. So I'm really happy that that you didn't decide to just stick with cosplay.
Yeah, me too, man. I want to say something else real quick, though. This book, while some people have mentioned that I've shown off a lot. Well, let me tell you, this book is so big, you have not seen anything. Like, some of the bigger twists in this book have been completely hidden from you. So you guys get ready. Get ready for something big.
Heck yeah.
It's going to be amazing.
And I was just going to add in there, you could have done both. Done the cosplay thing and made comic books. I mean, follow the Shae path.
It's true. It's true. Why not? Why not go a little Shae with it? But yeah, man, I had to go to film school, though. I had to learn scripts. I had to learn story. But yeah, making cosplay stuff was fun, man. That was fun.
Cosplay is fun.
I'm sorry?
Do it way better than that.
I said Vinny agrees. Do it like Shae.
Do it so much better than Shae, please. I am literally coming apart if you haven't noticed.
But that's the Monster MD world. It's all falling apart. I mean, his truck's falling apart.
It's been rough, okay?
He's getting bit all the time.
Right.
It's
Shae, you need to do an Al Pacino voice and say you're tearing me apart.
Do an Al Pacino voice.
Wait, is it you tearing me apart from that bad movie, The Room, though? You're tearing me apart, Lisa! That
might also be from that, too. I just remember Al Pacino doing it as well, but okay. I've never seen The Room. I've only seen the movie.
Okay.
So.
It's so good. It's so bad. It's so good. What are other questions?
We have about 7 waiting for us. The first one is from Justin. He wants to know, will there be a sequel to Monster MD or at least more stories within this universe?
100%. I've already written notes and have some ideas for a second epic tale.
Wrong arm.
And I gotta tell you guys, I'm thinking about making it focused around vampires a little bit, but then again, there's this like rebellious punk part of me that's just me, it's my personality, that's like, screw vampires, they're too overdone, so if I come up with something else, it will change. But those are some of the ideas on the table at the moment. And yes, you will see another book in the future.
So if that's your feeling on vampires, I'm just going to say this: if you do have them in the second book at all, totally hated offshoot strain of vampires that are all glittery in the sun, and they just get their asses kicked constantly.
That's a really cool idea. What was I? I was, Well, the thing is that I've been making vampires into these like scuzzy parasites. Like Wyatt straight up looks a vampire patient in the eye and he's like, you're a blood addicted parasite from beyond, like you're a piece of crap. I think he calls him what does he call him, a parasite with shoes or something. Like there's all kinds of nasty insults he has for him, and then of course the vampire has a little SJW in him and he calls him a pulsist and he calls him a what else does he call him? He's like, I knew you were a deathophobe. And Wyatt's like, who isn't a deathophobe?
Is it everybody? Nobody's like, I'm totally ready to die.
Exactly. So it's yeah. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe I am thinking about making fun of Monster Hunters because they're so popular and everybody does them, and there's nothing wrong with them. I like them and all, but like I made Monster MD to be the opposite of that, and yet I want it to be cooler. So I was thinking because he works on monsters, wouldn't it be fun to have a Monster Hunter character who like thinks he's a badass with his dual katanas and all his gear, but he's like a complete idiot, and
Like
Wyatt always outs. And I think the joke would be Wyatt always tries to convince him there's no such thing as monsters and hides the monsters from him and like it makes fun of him. And then the Monster Hunter goes, moves along and then everybody like flips him off. Just something like that. It might be fun. I still have to develop it.
The Monster Hunter can be like a mall cop during the day or something.
Yeah, make him That's great. Well, what's great about that is I was thinking about a scene in a mall parking lot, one of those parking garages, and Wyatt looks up and there's all these vampires hanging upside down like bats inside of it, which I thought would be a really cool like visual and scene, and he has to kind of run from him. And Wyatt, my idea was that he used, those guns at concerts that shoot t-shirts. Mm-hmm. I was thinking about Wyatt converted one of those into a steak shooter, and everyone's like, dude, you invent the coolest stuff, and Wyatt's like, yeah, this is a t-shirt gun I got on Amazon. So
or like I stole it from a football game or something.
Yeah. But yeah, we could put a mall cop in there that gets involved, That could be fun.
Oh my gosh.
Paul
All right,
Blart,
so your
Monster Hunter. Perfect.
Next question comes from Rare Logic. He says, when this becomes a cartoon, Vaughn, will you please voice Dr. Black?
Yeah, that's going to be in the contract. That's going to be in the contract. No problem.
Right.
No problem.
Back to... Oh, we're on Skits. So Skits asked his trademark question. What would you do differently if you had to do your campaign over?
Ooh, great question. I thought about maybe trying to put the sketchbook into the main book and not having a separate thing, but then the book would be so thick and so heavy. I don't know. I don't know. So I've thought about that. I've thought about it, but I'm not 100%. I kind of like that I have a sketchbook, but it is a lot more work. One of the things I've done on this is I kept giving myself a lot more work, but at the same time, I love doing it. So I would maybe try to like tone down some of the tiers. Maybe not have a draw yourself in as a monster tier. It's cool, it's fun, but it's not necessary. It's not a must-have. So edit out the ones that aren't must-haves. What else would I do different? Let me think. I mean, I did everything I wanted to do with this and had a damn good time doing it. So it's hard to come up with.
Yeah. And just the counterpoint to that, the flip side of that is drawing someone's face on a body that's already in your comic book is, you got to pay your artist to go back and touch up the page or whatever, unless that was a part of your original deal. But the point is it's very low overhead and you can charge them an ass load of money for that. So it's, your profitability on a tier like that is very good.
Yeah.
And someone did buy it. So, yeah. Who knows? Maybe the second book, more people will get it. So it's something to consider. For sure. Other than that, I don't know.
Might be able to get it now.
Yeah, it's open, baby. I don't know what else I would change, man. Maybe I would do more YouTube work, even though I have my full-time job, so it's been hard to ever keep up with my personal YouTube. But I think one of the best ways you could be successful is having that audience on YouTube that likes you and tunes into you and wants to support you. And I didn't really have that going for me. So yeah, I would change that for sure.
I would
put a lot more into that.
Absolutely have a good Twitter following. Make sure that you have a good lead up to your book.
Yep.
Because, and here's working a YouTube channel, building a YouTube channel is super fucking hard. It just is.
Yeah,
it is.
If you don't have that, I'm Ethan fucking Van Sciver on your side, then it takes a good while. So I would say network, as in like know the shows that are out there, know what you can hit, and absolutely
what you want to hit
tonight. Yeah, and when you're having an appearance tonight, make sure you as the creator tweet that out too, because the people that know who I am or who Shae are going to be different than the people that follow you, just because more people follow comics creators than they do YouTube people.
Right.
So, and they'll follow you is my point. So
Right.
do the easiest thing for you, build up that Twitter following, sharing art and stuff like that and what have you, and let other people do the lifting for you, I guess is my point.
Yeah. Cool.
I definitely would agree with that. All right. So the next question from Skits is, what do you feel has helped your campaign the most?
Putting together a full package in terms of what you get, and because I feel like I did a lot of things right. There's a reason, and I'm not bragging, this is just the way it is. And I'm happy that it's like this. That a lot of people have come to me and told me they copied my campaign as a template for their campaign. So I did a good job of creating a concept, a high concept book, creating a vision for that book that is appealing, and then creating a campaign around that book to market the hell out of it and get people excited about it. I think I have a complete package here that's really appealing, and that's why we've done so well. That's probably the key in the end. And also my passion and enthusiasm definitely comes through.
Absolutely.
That's what I was just going to say.
And I'm not going to lie, the pin and the patch help. I wish more campaigns had those, because to be honest, and I know that at 60K you did the trading card, to be honest, everyone's doing the trading card, but the pin and the patch really set you apart, and that's definitely a good thing to have as well.
Yeah.
What I like about the pin and the patch is, like, when you see them, you don't think comic book, you think like punk rock band or like heavy metal. And that's the attitude of my book, and that's what I think the attitude a lot of my fans will have, or the type of stuff they like. And so that's part of why those were really appealing to you guys, I think, because you got damn good taste. But but like a lot of the comic booky or more card collectory people came to me, and that's why we ended up having a trading card, because people asked for one. So and that was my philosophy with this campaign, is give them what they want and see what happens, So little experimental.
That's awesome. Justin's next question is, why just one cover? Why not have at least one variant cover like Downcast had?
Because it's my first campaign, and I there were so many X factors, if you will, to like should I do this? Should I do that? Variant covers became something that I didn't want to mess with. Also, as a consumer, this is just me. I get kind of overwhelmed when I see a lot of different tiers with variant covers. Even if it's just one, it makes me feel weird because I don't know which one I should get. And so like I decided to not sweat it and just keep it simple, keep it all the one cover. Maybe in the future, if this is and people are really hounding me, like maybe and there's been a lot of awesome artists like RT Bear and Matt. Or no, not Matt. He didn't ask, but he did a great pinup with Carlo Rowe for us. Like maybe they could do sweet covers in the future, but it's still kind of an X Factor thing. I'm not the biggest fan of variants, so we'll see what happens.
That's understandable. I mean,
it's not for everyone.
No, it isn't. Like sometimes I like variants, and sometimes you get Kyle Ritter level of variants where you've got literally 10 different covers, and I'm like, I want all of them. Why did you do this to me? There's too many.
Yeah, I bought Kyle's variant cover for the new Jawbreakers because it's just so it was perfect. I loved it. So I did. I can fall for a variant cover. It is possible.
All right. So, Eskimo. I'm just calling you Eskimo. Sorry, I'm gonna mess up the rest of your name. He wants to know what your thoughts are on glow in the dark or black light covers for future Monster MD titles.
That is a possibility. One thing that I saw online, someone else beat us, did this. It was really cool. They did a book and they worked with a printer to where you can take a UV light and then it'll be a picture of a werewolf. You move it over the drawing. You get their bones, you get their insides, you get to see the the anatomy of this werewolf. I thought that was so cool.
I have seen that. It's really neat.
it might be cool to do a Monster MD cover where it glows in the dark and you just see like their skeletons. I've always been a big fan of that. When I was a little kid in first grade, they had me wear one of those glow in the dark skeleton outfits and come out and do like a dance for Halloween to that Ghost of John song about the dancing skeleton. And I loved freaking everyone out. Like everyone was like, oh my God, as little kids though. But I love that glow in the dark stuff. I made a glow in the dark t-shirt from Monster MD that you can get on Crypto Fashion. It's the rib cage and it has a clean bill of health Post-it note on it signed by Heidi and Wyatt. Because I didn't want it just be bones, but yeah, that's one of those classic t-shirts. I've always liked stuff like that. When I was a little kid in preschool, something that got me into the arts was this like totally gothy, skinny, artsy dude that showed up wearing all black, and he was wearing a black t-shirt with the glow in the dark bones on it. And he started teaching us sculpting. And when the bell rang, all the kids ran out to the playground to play, but I like chilled with him and we just like created. We just made awesome over the top sculptures like all day. And that guy was a big influence on me. I mean, why I like what I like to this day. So thanks.
That's awesome.
Thanks, weirdo artists. You guys do make a difference. And and why I like this glow in the dark stuff. So yeah, I will definitely consider that in the future.
And then we have a personal request from Skits that came in.
So will you get me to do something on your next campaign? I love monsters and I'll give you something that will blow your mind. I don't know. Have you seen any of Skit's stuff?
Yeah, I did. I liked what I saw. He should give me a DM. Let's see what we can come up with.
There you go.
Boom! Look at that. We're making connections.
Did you just do an invisible gang sign?
I did.
Yo.
Oh my God! I can't bring the other arm up. It's
well, you did. I saw flesh.
Thanks for putting it. I hate you so much.
I'm gonna timestamp it in the description so that people can click that.
And just put the word flesh next to
it. Heidi bears all.
Heidi bears her flesh. That's terrible. Oh my goodness. Well, this has been an absolute blast. I'm so happy that we got you on and we're able to. Do you have any final questions, Cy?
I do not. I just wanted to more of a comment. So, I was looking through this stuff because I had to pull art to make the thumbnail for this stream. And I already liked your campaign before that because I've looked at it a couple of times. But every time I look at it, I've just liked it more and more. And this last time I looked at it was this morning. And I'm just going over it and I really looked like in depth. And I'm just like, this is so much better. Like initially I liked it. But this is so much better than I initially thought it was. I'm just like, this is so fucking cool. I'm so glad we got this guy on the show. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
That means a lot to me, guys.
Like we've seen a lot of campaigns and a lot of people starting out, and this is probably one of the absolute most put together, most like perfectly packaged campaigns that I think that we've seen. And then
fun.
Right, and then you add in the fun and the comedy, and you add in your passion, your personality, and then everything just blows up. It becomes something amazing.
That this book deserves it. It deserves nothing less. All the work that my team and I have done on this has made this such a special book that I'm actually, I approached this campaign like I was going to make 100K with this like confidence, it was like as if I was already a comic book pro was my attitude. And I think that helps. Yeah, we're almost there, man. I feel like no matter even if we just get the 65, that's cool. Like we've done so well. I'm so excited about this. I'm gonna do better and bigger, more amazing books. This is amazing. This is only the start. And I'm really glad everyone's responding so well because I put in that extra work. I mean, all those details that create this world and make this book that much more fun than anything you're going to find on the shelves, man. I mean, that's what it's all about. We have, as an artist, I wanted to just wow the world, and Monster MD was the perfect thing to do it with. So I'm so glad you guys dig it. Thank you. Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. This has been amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys are amazing. Love it.
Next time we might actually have real bandages.
Next time I might not come apart at the seams quite so much.
You just love the book so much, you're just falling apart.
You know what? It's all the excitement. I just got really, really into it and then just started falling apart. It's fine.
There you go. Well, I mean, that's what we do in life sometimes, and that's very Monster MD of you. So
you know,
we all fall apart. We all lose our shit sometimes.
And that's what you have the poop jar for. You lose your shit, put it in the poop jar.
Every time you lose your shit.
There's always the poop jar.
Oh my goodness. Well, I do want to say thank you so much to our super awesome chat. We had a lot of really good interaction. We had a ton of people jump in. It's been super great talking to everybody.
Nice.
Thank you again, Vaughn, so much for coming on. We definitely loved having you on, and I hope that we get you on for any and all future projects, because absolutely. And of course, thanks to Cy, my co-host and the producer that makes all of this stuff work, because I mean, I can't type like this. It's very difficult. So
allegedly work.
Allegedly work. Make it work-ish. It's fine. It's close enough. But thank you everyone for coming out. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Make sure you go and back Monster MD if you haven't already. We will have the links in the description. Follow Vaughn, follow me, follow Cy, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Thank you guys.
Bye.